following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always is my co-host. He has recently been rebuilt by Project Lazarus at a cost of over 64,000 rupees. The man with the shiniest boob armour in town, it's James.
Spent a lot of time polishing up that armour.
It's about 640 quid, mate.
I was going to ask.
And back from his second trip into the After Dark Megaverse, you may know him from 100 Things We Learned from Film, or possibly Everything We Learned from The Simpsons, or maybe it's from Tough International Trivia, or maybe even Facts and Lies and Rock and Roll. What I'm trying to say is, if you listen to any podcast at any point ever, he's probably been on it. It's the lovely and handsome Planty.
It's just the one swan, actually. How are you doing?
I'm fine. If you want to follow us on Twitter at Hallmark Greatness, or we're on Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Great, and there's also an email, Hallmark Greatness or something. No one ever uses it. It's fine.
Be the first. Go out there.
Yeah, send us
an email. See if we care.
Send it to some bloke to get your chance of being on his podcast moved up a spot.
Yeah. Or I will pay you money to send me emails.
A whole new angle on it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry as well. I really am ill. I've got COVID.
Don't worry about it. Everyone's got COVID.
And
mate.
then I had to watch this film. So
this film will tell you the restorative powers of glacé cherries.
So many glacé cherries.
So many. That's the future for all of us.
I mean, if we're going to do this, let's go fully into it with 1989.
What about my synopsis?
What? This is after this.
Is
I know
it?
we've had a bit of time off and it's all falling apart, but we do intro bit, jingle, then synopsis. Don't worry.
Okay.
You've ruined this now. You've embarrassed yourself. 1989's Interzone. James, now your synopsis.
No. So we put the word out on Twitter just to get everybody's suggestions, feed it into the great big machine of synopses. And this is what it's come up with. I've genuinely not read this beforehand, so let's see how it goes. Gretel Interzone is a local soccer mom who finds herself performing a rap for all of Ireland, or else everyone gets bum paddled. Things really get going when Gretel encounters Clifford Contraband, a slipper manufacturer, who was once her childhood sweetheart. Things become complicated when there's a new sheriff in town with a dark secret, and the couple must work together. Will they rid the world of sorrow? Perhaps.
To be honest, that's no more mental than this film at all.
It's a film.
I would watch that. Bum paddling, that's a paddling.
Thanks for all those suggestions coming in. Keep them coming in. I'll continue to feed them into this weird machine.
The actual synopsis for this film: humans fight mutants in a post-Holocaust world.
I didn't get a strong sense of mutants being involved in this.
The only mutant was that guy in
weird
the hole.
lad in the hole. Yeah,
and I think he just had like the flu.
And the gong watch out bloke of Gondor.
Mate, this gong button is going to get some abuse tonight. Because he's banging away on that like there's no tomorrow. Let's get into it. Let's open my notes. Interzone, 1989, opening credits. It's a big muddy puddle of bubbles.
I thought it was a tar pit at first. I was expecting Grimlock the Autobot to die in it.
Yeah, Hot Springs. I think this is it's filmed in Bracciano, so that's going to come across a lot. Is that there are a lot of Italian extras in this film?
Really?
And I think that is one feature. I think there's like famous baths there or something.
Oh, okay.
Got to be volcanic in it.
Are they okay with homosexual activity in Italy? Because there's bits later on where I was like, this has been dubbed on at a later date, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's some fine ADR right there.
Oh, I thought it was Mystery Science Theater 3000, to be honest. Starring Bruce Abbott and Beatrice Ring.
Well,
I did notice that it was produced by a chap called Clyde Anderson, who I thought should be surely upsetting some Bee Gees on a BBC TV chat show if they just changed one letter of his name.
And this opening music really wants to be the A-Team theme tune so badly, but is afraid to just have that kick-in moment.
And then it continues to be in the film for almost the full runtime.
Anytime there's an action sequence, we've got 3 pieces of music. I worked out how to play one of them while I was watching this, because it's 3 notes all the way through.
It pans to the first of many caves in this film. It's riddled with caves.
A Neil Breen level of caves, some would say.
Where the world's, the Interzone's most hottest act is performing. Rhythmic Steven and his Gyrating Fiddle Band.
The guy playing fiddle that has no strings on it, you mean? Rhythmic Steven, I love. He is my new favourite sexy dancing topless man after Tim Capello in Lost Boys.
It makes a change from nudie women dancers.
I know. I was like, this is progression. So yeah, our hero Swan is trying to get into this sexy Greek tavern.
I thought it was a budget Mos Eisley cantina.
Oh yes.
And he was Lone Star, non-union Bill Pullman.
Yes.
Bill Push Woman, question mark.
Well, I've also got non-union Fabio on the door.
I've got Ultimate Warrior in hot pants.
He's a bit dim. Swan, who I like to think writes his name wrong with an O. He gets in by fooling Fabio and just immediately nicks a jewel and then gets a man in his face for no reason.
He does the classic, hey, over there. And as the Ultimate Warrior turns around, he just walks past him. And I was like, is this what we're working with? Okay, fair enough. This Greek tavern is like a Frankie Goes to Hollywood video. Then why is the dialogue so quiet? There's 2 guys talking at the end of the bar about some treasure. But
it was very difficult.
I had to literally go into my audio settings and scoop out the top and bottom ends just so that I could hear what was going on. They're talking about some treasure that is nearby or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just made do without knowing what they were talking about. There is treasure.
Swan with an O comes over and he's like, let's pour us some of that black drink you're famous for. Then he just pours out like 4 glasses of Coke.
From somebody else's glass and then just gives them the rest of the glass.
Don't worry about it.
You can't drink a pint of Bovril.
I got down Bovril as well, actually.
And he's like, yeah, let's go and get this treasure. And then for some reason, they go to go and play Lazy Susan of Death.
Yeah, like Misty Blue Lagoon type drinks. There's 4 of them. People
so they arrive down there, and currently the last game is being played. It's a man versus a priest. The priest wins, and everyone cheers, and like, this is terrible. But the host is Rene from Allo Allo.
I had Dennis Franz.
Yes, Paul Bearer. There's a lot. So all 4 of them sit down, the 2 gentlemen he's been talking to and a random guy. They put up their prizes.
This is the most low stakes Russian roulette game that you've ever seen.
Gordon Kay does some bumps of coke. Someone hands in a disposable razor, a non-working pocket watch, and a
twice a day.
It tells the right time twice a day.
To be fair, they laugh at that like it's a Paddy McGuinness joke. Sexy waitress comes down, who Swan immediately gets a bonk on for. And then the Russian roulette of cocktails begins.
Oh, yeah, he puts up a toothbrush, by the way.
Which no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, he has to explain how you use it.
But razors, fine. Anyway, your lad who presented the Coke in a Vaseline jar dies. The lad with the razor dies. And then we get what I reckon they thought was like a Princess Bride style Vicini iocane powder thing, but it isn't. It's just confusing and goes on for ages.
It's the poison of overacting, isn't it? That's what it causes people to do.
I like the fact, though, after the first 2 died, they got some dudes in to clear the bodies out and make some space for the main event. He accuses him of cheating, a fight breaks loose, and someone presses play on the Manic Miner loading screen because the music here is tremendous. And hey, it's the future. It's an equal opportunities barroom brawl. Women are punching men are punching women. Sexy dance man's getting punched in the arse by the priest.
which he appears to like.
He's loving it,
Which
He's
many
still
people would pay a
dancing.
lot of money for.
He's still dancing while he's just punched him in the cheeks. And I was like, this is a strange film.
Swan bribes Fabio with his stinky toothbrush, and Fabio takes it and accepts it, and it just allows him to leave.
But there's also a big lad punching a lass in the tummy, and she looks like she's having
over and
fun
over
as
again.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange. Gordon Kay is not happy at this.
And it's a worthy start to the rest of this film.
I mean,
That's what I'd say.
this sets the barrier for what's going to happen later on. Also, none of this has anything to do with the rest of the film.
Are we setting him up as a character?
He
Because
is
the character in
about
the
the
film.
treasure. It
supposed
introduces
to
Rat,
be-
who runs the game.
Like a rogue, isn't he? He's supposed to be like a Han Solo, Indiana Jones.
In a world where there are no rules.
Thinking on his feet, wise guy. And he just looks like a geography teacher on a school trip. We get like a 5-minute thing of people getting bullets out of an ammunition crate.
Loading the bullets.
Yeah, one at a
Stomping
time.
around.
And I was like, they've got guns, but they don't understand what toothbrushes are.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe that tells you something about. And it's the long-awaited battle of Thunderdome versus the Priests.
Yeah, we're introduced at this point to an unlikely pair, Mantis and Balsacan.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I heard it
needed
as
a run up to that.
I heard it as Mantis and Octagon.
Oh, I like that.
I'd just written BDSM David Niven.
Yeah.
and non-union Tina Turner.
Female bodybuilder with Jareth hair is what I've got down.
And a dress that shouldn't stay up.
No,
Because, yeah, there'd be bits flapping out of that.
there's a lot of flapping. Yeah.
And like the priest, none of the priests, this is the bit I didn't understand as well. None of the priests can talk. They use telepathy.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
why
you
would you
all had
speak if you
telepathy?
could do
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
I mean, yeah. But apparently, if they all hold hands in front of this church, this force field remains in place. So all of the Thunderdome rejects open fire on BDSM David Niven's command. Again, they waste so much ammunition.
And none of it bounces back to hit them.
Or hits
No.
I
the
was
wall,
astonished
or-
by. No, exactly.
And then Octagon goes up to it. He gets his sword out, and I was like, he's got a lightning sword. Like, that's cool. Like Highlander, it's a kind of magic. But no, they've got this force field in front of them because they're all holding hands.
It looked like something out of a 70s public service film.
Like, don't play on the train lines.
Yeah, exactly. Watch out for clergymen. You know.
They could have done with that back in the
It's,
70s.
well, it's as current now as it was then.
Mantis says, "Oh, we'll get you, priests. Let's go away and think about this." So they all mitch off.
Stamp back down the hill.
Yeah, they all get in their cars, pick all the bullets up again, go off. And old priest, the chief of the priests,
General Electric.
is
It's
like,
legitimately his name.
Yeah, that's his
Is
name.
it?
General
Oh, yes.
Electric, yeah.
Nice,
And
I like that.
the monk later on is called Panasonic,
yeah, I knew that
which is only a little bit racist.
They
It's
don't
certainly
really-
not the most racist thing that happens later in this film.
No, they don't really develop that. Nobody else gets introduced.
no. So yeah, we meet that General Electric is dying, and he hands over his power to another priest. But he says, "Panasonic, you have to go and find the person who will save the Interzone."
Yeah, the treasure in their place needs to be protected, otherwise the Interzone will collapse for reasons that are no longer necessary to explain.
No, I'm still not sure what the Interzone is after watching this film. To be honest, it says it's like
the fatal deviation of, of
They said
1989.
it's like a 500-mile square bit where everyone lives that isn't irradiated. But
Yeah.
but that is protected by some statues and a Commodore 64.
Yeah, the treasure is by no means treasure.
Right.
It's
The treasure was the friends they made along the way.
See, this is what they were kind of building into the Russian roulette battle at the start. All the prizes are terrible, no matter what you do.
This should be just a film of disappointment, this really, shouldn't it?
He needs to go and look for Swan. He names Swan, and also a woman with gold hair and eyes like the sky.
Yeah.
Blue.
Panasonic looks like a fucking Mekon. So Panasonic's like, right, I accept my role in this. I will. Oh, and then he goes, "I will miss you, General." And then the camera pans up as his soul leaves his body, which I thought was quite nice. Lovely mind acting from Panasonic. That's... And then we get 3 fucking minutes of Panasonic walking around.
The Jimmy Bennett of the future.
Uphill, down dale, no shoes on.
Sits down, immediately gets bitten by a fucking snake.
You've done fuck all, Panasonic, and the first opportunity, you fucked it.
Is this the end of old Panasonic?
You get murked by a snake. He decides to just give up entirely. Like, they picked the wrong person. They should have sent, I don't know, Alba.
Sawney.
Yeah.
Um,
Alba
as
would
he-
have been brilliant, actually, because that's actually a monk's name. Ah, never mind.
Don't look into it too much.
Yeah.
As he's dying out in the sun, he sees the shadow approach him, and we cut to another cave.
Yeah.
The second cave in this film.
Swan's rescued him. Yeah.
He's put him
Apparently
near a
healed
fire.
him through the power of votive whittling. He whittles this little dog.
He's got
And
a
he
little
casts
dog.
it to the flames.
He's got a little dog there. He's got a leather jacket on, but nothing underneath. Like no t-shirt and out, so that's going to stink. And then, this was the best bit. He drops the dog in the fire, and instead of just going, and scooping it out with his knife, he just pulls another bit of wood out of his pocket wood. And he's like,
just keep going.
I'll just start again.
Got to keep the magic going.
Turns out Panasonic is a telepath, and he can also read minds.
And he proves this by reading Swan's mind, who's thinking about Terra reaching out and grabbing his, and then it moves on.
Yes.
But it's not that impressive because that's what Swan's thinking about constantly. So
That or whittling. Two hobbies.
I wish they'd threaded the whittling in throughout the entire thing. Yeah.
Right. Because
that
there's a
massive
bit
fight
later
later on, and he's just there whittling instead in the car. That
Well, he says, I'm going to hit you so hard your dog's going to die. I was like, does he hate dogs? He whittles the dogs and then he burns them like voodoo dolls. They go to a Renaissance fair.
Yeah, in Swan's souped-up German staff car. I was quite impressed by that, actually.
It's pretty good. It's basically like a golf buggy that they've strapped a load of shit to. But he's got like a machine gun on the back and little eye holes so he can see. So like it's legit. And fucking Gordon Kay's here again. Like, because he's got his hand in all the crime, it would appear.
Yeah, it's like some kind of souk or market or something where Swan and Panasonic are busy trying to buy onions, and then they come across Rat, who has got some sort of slave market going.
Yeah. And Panasonic's okay with this. He's like, oh, it's a good crop. And I'm like, are you?
Did he say that? Fucking
yeah,
hell.
he's all right with it. He's like, this is just the way the world is now. And I'm like,
Also, Rat does like squeeze one woman's left tit. I thought, I don't feel like everyone's comfortable with that.
She certainly wasn't.
No.
Yeah, they bring out Hot Babe, Tara, and fucking Swan loses his tits at this, doesn't he? And he's like, you can either give it me or I'll whip the fuck out of you.
He also fantasizes about running towards her in a summer glade.
Right. I thought, has this happened? Have they met previously and then like been separated? But no, this was just like fucking from here to eternity or something. So Rene says, no, you can pay for her. So he whips him round the neck, pulls the gun on him, and says, like, if anyone gets close, I'll shoot him. They get Hot Babe Terror. They fall over into a tent. It cuts to some goats. It's just like two goats there. And then everyone falls over. They run off.
Yeah. Rene says, what are you doing, you bastards? Kidnap him. I want him alive. So they jump onto their two strokes to chase after him and immediately just plow themselves into the market.
It's like Junior Kickstarter.
Oh, mate.
I was expecting some John's ambulance people to kind of fall down and pit at some point.
I was like, you could have just give chase on foot. By the time you started your motorbikes, turned them round and chased them. Like, I know you love It's the Future, and we all love dirt bikes, but yes. And then Rat gets into his special zebra car that he's had built.
I love that car. So did he. Doesn't last very long.
No. They drive along very slowly, chasing each other.
Very slow.
Until Swan goes, like, take the wheel. I need to go and shoot this gun for some reason. While Mantis is just sat there praying in a trance, like doing now.
Yeah, well, also, she is just like sat there for a good long while. She isn't even driving. She's just like pleasantly sat there in the driver's seat.
Well, yeah, he says drive, and she turns at a cliff and a rock falls off into the ravine. And I'm like, phew, that was close.
There's a vast armory of different weapons.
Yeah, well,
when
Swan mounts the machine gun, he tries to hatch Panasonic's head with his ass. Like, he straddles his head, thinking that maybe he is a swan.
Deep thoughts from Joe.
Yeah, he fires this gun, and they're not like they're a million miles away, so I don't know how he misses so much.
No, he launches like grenades and all
He
sorts.
throws 3 grenades at them, which act as mild inconveniences at best, until one of them lands in a dude's lap and he casually explodes off to the side of the road. Then he gets, he's got a built-in flamethrower, which is pretty good, isn't it? Panasonic's fucking useless. He sets fire to one of the motorbikes, which a man casually gently falls off, and then the motorbike explodes. And then in one of the many good action shots of this, we get a slow motion close-up of his crotch as he leaps from one car to the other.
Yeah, starts, pounding away at Rat, who's in his car. And I thought at this point, it would be a shame if a cliff appeared, wouldn't it? And then there's a cliff.
Yeah, the car goes over the edge of the cliff with not a soul on board. They just pushed it.
You do see Rene, Rat, and his lieutenant plop into some quarry water nearby. And then the car just really reassuringly detonates as soon as it turns over at the bottom of the quarry.
Like it's made out of card as well, isn't it? It just folds
I think they're
in on
all
itself.
golf buggies with like fiberglass body shells put over them.
It reminded me as he jumped out of the car before it crashes. There was a line in. Do you remember the Bill and Ted cartoon?
No,
it used to exist. Yeah, there was a Bill and Ted cartoon, and I remember there was a problem where the time machine was crashing to Earth, and one of them says, "It's all right, we'll just jump out inches before we hit the ground.
Yeah,
we'll be fine." And it reminded me very much of that because he's done for, but he still manages to launch himself.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. He's got Allo Allo powers. We get some quality dialogue. What's your name? Tara. What's your name? Swan. And then they just drive off, and I'm like, fucking hell. Rene is sat in a swamp, and he's going to kill him.
I think we cut to Mantis next.
We cut to Mantis and Balzacan.
Yes.
And I've just got, what the fuck is happening here?
But she's not sexually satisfied by a man who she's just come across.
Who turns up again later on without his shades on. Same dude.
Oh, because that's exactly what I would have done. She's not sexually satisfied by him, so she sends him into yet another hole. And she says, "Get out if you can live."
Because he was bad in bed, she's given him the hole. That's the wrong way round, surely. And everyone cheers, and everyone's happy.
Everyone finds it hilarious.
She's hilarious, is Mantis. Yeah,
they love the hole.
And we cut back to a campfire. They've camped for the night. Swan says, I think it might be Panasonic who says, "Mantis is a devil who wears a dress." And Tara responds, "What a slut." And I was like, wow. All right, Tara, why'd you fucking naked, love? Jesus.
Panasonic reminisces about his brother?
It was his brother,
right?
Who came across Balzacan one day with his pregnant wife. Balzacan asks for some water and then just proceeds to disembowel his wife for no reason, just for the bants. I don't know what that's about.
I think it's maybe to tell us that he's a bad person, as if, trying to kill all those monks wasn't enough. Yeah.
I think it's to spin it out a little bit longer.
Possibly. They all hand out the 3 blankets. Swan takes the smallest one. And then he picks up a big rock and turns it over. And it goes poof, really loud on the floor. Why would you use a rock as a pillow? That's not comfortable.
I don't know, but Hot Babe comes over and she's like, "Oh, you want the blanket after all?" Snuggles up to him, and they're still using the big rock as a pillow.
No. She uses his head as a pillow. That's all she's into, mate. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I knew you'd say that," and she doesn't even do anything to him.
Sound disappointed.
Well, he was.
Anyway,
wake up the next morning.
My favourite part of this entire film.
In this post-Holocaust future, only one type of food is available wild in the trees. It is a bush that produces glacé cherries.
Panasonic's just foraging glacé cherries.
Right. At this point, has Panasonic got a robot hand?
Go on.
Because there's just a shot where he's got a metal hand. Right, he's picking the right. So
I didn't realise it was him then at that point, because I thought it was something else random was happening. Because I noticed it was a
maybe he is bionic. Yeah, maybe he's sponsored by Panasonic.
He's got an old microwave for a hand. Because he's picking that, and then Rene shows up again, and he points his big long gun at Swan. And he says, "I'm going to blow your brains out, and then I'll kill you." Which is a problem. And then this is the point, when Panasonic's got a handful of glacé cherries, he turns around and he's got like a robot hand. It's not important. It's never mentioned again. He comes back over and uses his telepathic powers to make Rene shoot his own cock off.
Is that what happens? Because he doesn't appear to be wounded a little bit later on.
I don't know. I thought he shot his cock off.
I don't know either.
But now I think about it.
Everyone gets very excited by this point because then Swan gets the gun, turns it on him, and then gets him to strip off all his clothes. And he's thrilled about it. Swan's thrilled about it. Tara's absolutely fucking thrilled about it.
The heroic music starts playing. And to teach him a lesson, he throws his clothes 5 feet away from him. And he won't be able to get them back, will he?
Yeah. And then they drive away.
Yeah. So what they're doing now, just fucking about. They drive along, and the hunchback man looks through his telescope that doesn't really appear to do anything apart from restrict your field of vision.
So it turns the people that you're looking at into the beginning of every James Bond film.
Yes. And he does.
Well, I don't think they meet him yet, though, do they? Because they drive away to the castle of the veterans.
Yeah,
and Swan says that he wants some of the treasure because he doesn't at this point know what it is.
No,
how disappointing it is.
More fool him there, yes. What are they doing now? They're just fucking about, yeah.
You could add that bit into the whole film, to be honest.
Fair, yeah, the ending still doesn't make sense. They drive into the heart of Mantis's and what's he called? Octagon's lair. While the hunchback guy bangs a gong for like 20 minutes straight. And all these people come out, and they surround his.
It's the outsider gong.
Yeah. And then we get some quality dialogue between Octagon, Mantis, Swan, and everyone else. What's he called? Balzacan refers to him as a fuzzy-faced foreigner. And then Mantis asks, "Who do you think you are, big boy?"
Love it.
Swan says,
really chokes on my beer, but
I've captured a priest. You use him to find out what the weaknesses are. To which Balzacan says, "I'd love to make chop suey out of you." And I'm like,
that famous Italian racism right there.
Yep. Swan calls him an arsewipe, to which he responds, "Who are you calling an arsewipe?" And basically, then Mantis goes, "Hang on, there's a guy here. Right, you get to have a go on me." And I'm like, fuck it, this is no way to run a dictatorship, love. It's like anyone that shows up, you get to have a go in the hole.
He also presents Terra as being his slave, and then she breaks character immediately by going, "You swore," presumably about some oath of chastity that they've sworn to one another or something.
No. But as she's led off, Mantis goes, "I'll have a crack at her later as well."
Yeah.
And then the weirdest bit is, Panasonic appears and she goes and torture him, and Panasonic goes, "Okay."
Yeah, he's well up for it.
He's loving it, him, because I think
at least
later on,
participating.
when they're shooting arrows at him, he's loving that.
It was only when he was really truly happy.
So
we cut to the most confusing sex scene. In fact, it's multi-layered, this, because even the guards are having a go.
There's a dude playing a harp and a guy playing an acoustic guitar, watching all the way through it.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
Swan is drinking out of his big gold cup, while those lasses from Four Non-Blondes rub chip fat on him.
What is going on?
And then I've literally got, what the fuck is this?
Well, Mantis has been busy. She turns up in a white robe, which is almost the same dimensions as her other clothes, with like a dangly bit in the middle, but it's white.
Yeah. She's got one that's like for the week, and the other one's for warring. Blood doesn't show up on black, does it?
It was 2 for 1 at Primark. Got it in each colour. She leaps into bed, and I mean proper, like full-on leaps.
Like she's scoring a try or something.
Yeah.
And pounces on him, and then it cuts to outside, and this is my favourite moment in any film
I hope
ever.
you got some of the dialogue from this.
No, because I was too busy laughing.
I got some of it. I think he says, can I get a hit of one of your smokes? And that obviously, so they've just asked 2 guys to describe what's happening, haven't they?
Yeah.
These 2 blokes in the ADR are describing what's going on, and he said, sounds like a lot of fun up there. I wish I could have a go, or something like that with Mantis.
And then he's like, "Oh, have you been working out?" "Yeah, my arms are big." But then he's like, oh, that I should go work out with you sometime. Yeah, maybe you should, Keith.
And then he puts his hand on his ass.
And then they walk off together, and I'm like, man, it's maybe.
I wish I was
things,
that buffer. Oh, don't put yourself down. And it just like trails off into nothingness.
And that's why I thought, is this like a Mystery Science Theatre bit? But fair play to Mantis, like she doesn't discriminate, so that's nice in the future.
Yep, she does her own weird, sexy silhouette dancing and
Tales of the unexpected,
with a shoe. A shoe's part of it.
Yeah, like a slipper shoe. Yeah, like with the hairy bit.
Mantis can teleport as well. Because she keeps going, pa!
My favourite thing about this as well is that Swan is just watching this, mouth agape.
Like, no one's going to enjoy this. She's loving it. Didn't Bruce Forsyth used to do this? Didn't he? Like, if she'd done that, sexy shadow poses or filthy kabuki. Tara is being held captive. She steals a knife and runs around for a while.
I've put this down as the Italian method of getting out of things. The Irish method, as we all know, is just banging a rock against something. But it's just fiddling about with a knife, the Italian method. Yeah, she goes to get Panasonic, who's sort of like shackled up to something in another cave. Naturally in another cave somewhere. And she's just trying to free him when Balkazan turns up. And she does like some heroic acting. I could have killed him. I've got this knife.
She sells Swan out. And then there's like a good 5-second close-up of Panasonic going. He's just got a big old daft grin on his face. He's loving it. And then this is the fucking best bit in the film. The sexy food moment. So she's put a glass...
the sex games have by no means finished.
No. So we've had rugby tackle onto the bed. We've had guess the body part by the shadow shape. And now we've got worst sexy food games to play. She's got glacé cherry on a fork that she jabs into his lip several times. He gets an egg in the shell, rubs it round, makes him smell the egg.
I forgot about
smell the egg,
and then makes him bite into it.
He bites it, and then it goes, and she's laughing. She's like, I have never been so turned on. They open a can of pilchards, and she offers him one of them, and he sort of politely refuses because raw egg pilchards. And then I was like, banana. This is the least sexy of all the food. Oh, here we go. Bananas. But it's not sexy. He just pushes it all into his mouth.
He's scranning it. He's really enjoying the banana.
Like a pelican eating a fish.
And the thing that astounded me the most was this film was released merely a year after 9.5 Weeks, which has obviously got the quote-unquote sexy food scene in it, and they just rip it off completely.
Yeah, they hadn't perfected that yet. Sexy food. This was just random and confusing foods.
I mean, the catering on this film must have been awful. The next morning, we come out and Mantis goes, "Nah, mate, you're going in the hole." And he refers to her as baby cakes at this point, which I didn't like. They throw a leg of lamb or something into the hole, which then gets eaten. Then Swan just punts a guy down there for laughs. And everyone's like, yay, more murder.
Swan is like, I could have got that leg of lamb.
I mean, imagine that.
Yeah, that's a sexy food too.
Rubbed up and down here, yeah. They throw him into this cave again. And at this point, I'm just going, ran, go.
Yes, yeah, essentially.
He finds a shotgun
immediately
in the dry ice.
Fully loaded as well. It's got
don't worry
2
about
shells
that.
in it.
He finds a hand first, so.
I was noticing as well that there's lit torches all along the walls, and I was like, whose job is that every day?
Skulls. Yeah.
So, like the thing in the pit clearly
Does
has.
it do that?
Yeah, interior decorating. This is Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen after the post-Holocaust world. This thing slowly comes out of a puddle, and it looks just like a guy with a lot of slime on him.
70s Doctor Who monster.
Yeah, he's immediately shot twice with a shotgun, and that's the end of that.
Doesn't get anywhere near him. There's no fight. There's no battle.
Yeah.
Nope. Panasonic is loving this because he's getting tortured by Octagon, who's firing arrows at him. A lot of arrows. And basically at this point, their plan was to turn them against each other.
Yeah.
To distract them while they do something else. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. So they're setting... So the whole idea is that Balsacan is interrogating Panasonic about the weakness in the mental barrier, But that's to make it look like he's trying to get there first. So it's to drive a vague wedge between him and Mantis over leadership of the gang.
Well, Mantis shows up anyway. She goes, you prick. And he goes, all right. And then we have the lowest energy rumble of all time.
There's a hole involved.
I mean, to be fair, the double hole bit, I laughed at because that was funny. They rescue Panasonic from the thing, and he narrowly avoids being speared. A lad gets pushed into a hole, gets picked out of a hole and thrown into another hole. Yeah, that was fun. There's a lot of side-to-side sort of swinging. A lot of belly punching. They run away while all this is happening.
And then Panasonic turns around and goes, why do you have to fucking tell them about the weakness in the mental barrier? It's like, I made that up.
And Swan goes, I made that up. And he was like, oh, well, fuck. Yeah. He pats him on the back. Panasonic tumbles to the ground like he's been shot. Swan and Hot Babe go to kiss, and Panasonic fucking gooseberries him again.
Yeah, he sort of appears from below, like, what are you doing?
They have to go back to destroy their ammunition supplies to protect the monks now that they know about the weakness in the barrier. So Swan goes back.
Not what the weakness in the barrier is, but that there is a weakness in the barrier.
Well,
it turns out it's a little hole.
But no, I think it's
a person-shaped hole.
A person-shaped hole that can only be found with fire.
Flamethrowered. Yeah.
It wasn't fully explained. So Swan's like, I have to go back. You go and warn the monks of this. And Hot Babe goes, no, I'm coming with you. And then Panasonic gets a voice from God, which was a good bit saying, you must help Swan. And he goes, where are you? So, and then they get caught, and Swan's dangling from a thing.
They get caught in a really peculiar way, though, because they go back to the gang, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fuck them up. And they've got the guns and everything. They turn around a corner, they let loose all this fire, and then there's nobody there. And it's like they've been shooting for about 2 minutes solid at nothing but a wall.
I mean, they're not the sharpest tools. No. Yeah. So they've invented this mousetrap-style contraption, where as soon as Swan falls off this thing onto a platform, Hot Babe will be staticked to death. Because Dwarf Peter Capaldi has invented a Van de Graaff generator, basically. Octagon whips him with his own whip. He eventually falls off and kills her. Everyone leaves. Like, they just leave them there.
Yeah. Swan also dies. He's chained to something. Panasonic starts cradling him in his arms. And essentially, long and short of it is, he trades him, at the cost of his own life, he brings Swan back, but not Hot Babe.
He invokes the rule of swapsies. And he's now dead, but Swan comes to life to punch a dude in the head and kick a door off of hinges a bit.
But he wakes this guy up to knock him out.
Yeah.
This guard. Excuse me. Yeah, bang.
It's a proper dick move. They've all driven off, by the way, all the Mantis Octagon gang.
Now I know that there's a weakness in the barrier.
They've all packed all their guns up, loaded them all up again, and have driven off to go and beat the monks up. We get 3 minutes of him fannying about with guns, putting them all on.
He doesn't even use that many of them.
He gets there, he doesn't shoot anyone, and then he takes them all fucking off to have a fight.
He rocks up as well. So all the main force of the gang go up to the veterans. Again, everyone gets out like, oh, we've been here before sort of thing. They take out, as you say, a flamethrower. Mr. Film does that electricity effect all over again. But this time there's a difference because there's a little mouse hole shaped thing in the side that no one's ever noticed before.
Why would you?
Maybe you have to believe in the weakness in the mental barrier in order to see.
Know it's there. Yeah.
But yeah, Swan comes around the corner of the hill with an actual fucking cannon.
He's got a cannon on the back of a little golf buggy. Yeah. Yep. Little golf cart to save the day. New chief priest has shit the bed massively here. As soon as they all start piling through, they do a bunk. Father Bigley, the running priest. And the big chief priest says, I can't believe it. I was like, they all go and hide in a special panic room for priests. And then they're all in the thing outside this room, all the soldiers. They're trying to open this bit, and they said, the only way we can get through is if we explode it. Chuck Norris appears with a bazooka. And he's like, right, stand back, I'll do it. Mantis slides it down the table so hard it hits the camera.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, no, you dick, we can't do that. You'll destroy all the treasure that's inside. And I'm like, if only you knew. Swan
I want there to
outside
be an
fires-
alternative version to this where she does actually open it up and it's just really
goes,
disappointing. And then everyone goes home. Yeah. But yeah, there's like a big steel sheet that's across it. Everyone's barricaded themselves in.
Swan fires a smoke grenade into the thing, and everyone starts coughing and spluttering and running out. They all run outside, and Swan goes, you can either run away or run away. I was like,
So they run away. Yeah.
nice to see, though, the two lads, Terry and Keith, holding hands and run away together again.
Did they?
Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's progression. The little Peter Capaldi dwarf comes out, sees Swan, and just explodes himself.
I know. I can't think of a way to explain it that will make sense because it doesn't make sense.
He touches a button on his belt,
Yeah.
on his sash, and goes, and then just explodes. And Swan literally looks at the camera and goes, self-detonating hump.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not a thing. This film has everything. He goes into the main room where Octagon is waiting. Octagon puts his sword down and takes his gun off. So then Swan takes 5 minutes taking all his fucking guns off to have possibly one of the slowest karate fights ever.
They make up for that by going through a lot of walls, but not in like a fun way, just ducking under some
Yeah, they're not being
holes in the wall.
pushed through the walls. There's a lot of just follow me.
It's like the weakness in the mental barrier, but actually in walls that they found.
Yeah.
But basically, the turnabout of this is that every time Octagon punches him, Mantis does a spin kick. This keeps going forever. And then Octagon threatens. He says, "I'm gonna. Do you know how you're going to die? I'm going to crush your trout." Because he can't say throw. To which Swan replies, "I'm going to punch you so hard your dog's going to die." Continuing with Swan's hate of all canines. They have a fight. There's like a bit where Swan goes, like hits him with two of the weakest overhand chops ever. He beats Octagon, goes back, and Mantis is like, "Me and you are not so different." And I'm like, "Oh, fucking, how long's left?"
Well,
they
sort of have like a fisticuffs session of their own.
Yeah,
and then
She's gonna shoot him.
Yeah, she says, "This is the final chapter." And he says, "Well, that depends on what book you're reading." And then she gets grenade launched from the grenade launcher that's on the table. And I thought, it's one of those lines where the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. Which I think was maybe the point. It just confused her for a moment.
She was like, "What? No." She explodes. Swan is allowed access into the secret Holy of Holies.
I think, it just blows it open, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Inside are all the priests hanging around in the gloom. And the treasure just appears to be a load of marble statues.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of statues in there.
The fallen Madonna with the great big boobies. To continue the Allo Allo theme.
He goes over to like a Betamax, presses play on it, and it's welcome the world of the future. This is year 0. We've messed up. We've left everything in here. This is the best of what
The most beautiful things that man created.
Not the most
And some
useful,
statues.
the most beautiful things.
Mm.
So there's like a picture of Melinda Messenger.
Don't know if you noticed as well, it actually is a Panasonic.
Oh, no, I didn't. Good
Hey.
spot.
What the actual fuck? That was it.
So
And then
Yeah,
out
they
of
say,
disgust,
yeah.
he just pisses off, doesn't he?
Well, they say what you see here is from our past. Without it, there is no future. Not true.
No.
Take what you want from our treasures. And he's like, I don't fucking want any of
He
it.
says, I had everything that I wanted. I had a loyal servant and a hot babe. And now they're both dead. One from too much electric and one from the law of swapsies. He goes back. He walks up. The best bit is, though, like all the priests part. And as he walks off, one priest just starts waving like 20 minutes before everyone else.
Yeah. Goodbye.
God damn it, Father Bigley. He goes back. He's buried Panasonic and wrote Panasonic on a stick.
Yes.
But he's just cradling Hot Babe, which is a bit weird. And then she just comes back to life.
So it's okay.
Like, he must have been gone at least, 3, 4, 5 hours?
Yeah, I'm guessing that the priests brought her back to life, but it doesn't say that.
No, she just goes, and he goes, "Oh, you're breathing now." And I'm like, is it?
The power of art is what that is.
He's going to be like, yeah, your knickers are on back to front. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They do deep kissing near his mate's recently dug grave. And then she goes, what are we going to do? And he's like, I've got an idea. And then they just drive off. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
the whole
Interzone.
thing.
They've gone to make out point.
I mean, I'm sad there's not a sequel because I wanted to see how Swan and Tara got on being leaders of the new world.
I've got 500 quid in the bank. Let's make one.
Let's do it.
We can make two.
I vote Randall Parker as the new Swan.
It depends what chapter you're reading.
Fuck off. A lot of that. I didn't mind this so much. It was fun, but the audio was all messed up.
It was prop heavy, and that saved it. I think.
Yeah. There was enough stupid set pieces to make it fun. I think if the audio made sense, I'd have hated it even more. If I'd have actually been able to hear most of the script, I'd have been furious at it.
I think there is room for a sequel in there because Rat wasn't killed off, was he? And I think in the next one it could just be him flogging off all the beautiful art. Yeah. Finally, there's a high stakes poker game.
Yeah,
him, David Dickinson.
I'm going to give this 2 silver Fabios. One, because of the silver Fabio at the start in the little hot pants. And another one for sexy dancing ass punch boy.
Yeah, I think it had this moment. I'm going to give it 1 golden Fabio stinky toothbrush.
Okay.
Because it did have a Fabio in it. I don't know. It did a lot of things not well. It did enough things, you know.
When did Mad Max come out? Because this is clearly like the year
Mad
after,
Max is like, no, Mad Max, the original Mad Max is like 80.
Yeah.
79, 80. So the second one, I think, was something like 83, 82, 83. And then the last one of the time was 89, maybe. So this kind of sits between the pair of them. So maybe, perhaps, whoever the awful Hollywood exec that ruined Thunderdome, the great original idea, took his ideas from this.
I don't think he did.
We truly don't need another hero.
Hey, I think some Italian dude was like, let's make a Mad Max. Let's get that guy from Thingy. Mark, your score out of however you score.
Yeah, it's one 70s Doctor Who swamp monster for me, I'm afraid, because he looks like that. I liked the swamp monster very much. I thought he was a terrible villain, but he did look a little bit like the political figure that they turn into a water X-Man in that first X-Men movie.
Oh yeah,
I did think he was that, and I liked that did it for me, not in a sexual way, but maybe in a sexual way.
I mean, you are the mantis of this podcast.
Absolutely, I am.
So that was 1989's Interzone. Alternative title, Lobos Guerreros, or Wolf Warriors. Don't know why it's got that name.
There's
no wolves in it. If
anything, they hate dogs.
Yep, 1989 saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Batman, Back to the Future Part 2, oh, good one, Dead Poets Society. I've got no budgetary statistics on this at all because I went looking for any Bruce Abbott reference to this in any interview. Nothing, not a thing anywhere. Even Mantis went through all her stuff. No, nothing. So I don't know how much it cost. I don't know why it was made. But so I just started looking up flamethrowers online instead. You can get for $1,959 on Chinese Amazon the Fly Dragon flamethrower drone. So that's a thing. That's not an unreasonable amount of money for a drone that could kill people.
Yeah, I don't. But isn't the thing with flamethrowers is that you have about 15 seconds worth of fuel?
Yes.
So, and also if it's on a drone, will it not fire it off?
I mean, you could easily and probably torch yourself. Yeah.
That's a dangerous game.
Professional asshole Elon Musk also will sell you one for about just shy of $5,000 called Not a Flamethrower.
Because it's not a flamethrower, it's a big lighter.
Yeah, I think the point is that it's also banned in 2 states in America and legal in all the rest. Make of that what you will. Or there's for just a measly £185, you can get the Sheen X300 flame gun, an alternative and very effective way of controlling weeds in the garden that does it without the distribution of chemicals. The X300 flame gun destroys weeds with its 2000 degrees Fahrenheit controlled flame. Or I don't know.
No,
just get some patio stuff on it.
Just weed it, mate.
Get a can
but
of
the guy-
Lynx and a
I
lighter.
was going to say that's the easy way of doing it. Yeah.
The guy in Somerset who is selling it says that he won't post the propane to you, but if you go and collect it from him, he'll give you propane. I don't know.
Propane.
He will send you the propane accessories. Very good. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who's like, I'm too lazy to get like a fork and a spade. I'm just going to burn it.
Americans.
And men from Somerset.
Yeah. It was directed by Darren Serafian. He actually worked, apparently, unless he's hyping himself up way too much, he actually worked on Rock and Roll High School. It started out sort of in the Roger Corman mode. I think this went in his sort of like Italian period of just making stuff on the cheap there. But he
calling
went on
it his Italian period makes him sound like fucking Picasso.
well, I think this is a Roger Corman thing because he did loads of stuff in Italy. So I think it's part of that whole industry, isn't it? But he now does stuff. He directed loads of House episodes at CSI New York, Miami, and the original as
that's
director.
a threefer.
Yeah. He later worked on Terminal Velocity as well. The
Wesley
Tom Cruise?
Snipes?
He might have been in it.
The skydiving one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So yeah, he went and found fame. This was just like his Italian period.
You've got to cut your teeth somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah. So he wrote it, co-wrote it with Claudio Fragasso, who has an online presence. There's a lot of fans out there. As far as I can tell, though, he's done Troll 2, which I believe is one of the worst films of all time.
Yeah, it's one of these films where people get a kick out of
ragging on it.
Cinema. Yeah, going to these, shouting out the lines. Like The Room. Like when The Room came out, everyone was like, "Oh, that's really unintentionally funny." And now it's just got a life of its own, where the director goes and does things. Yeah, Troll 2 is exactly the same. It's not crap, and it's only morons that just shout at it.
It's not a terrible film. It's an 80s fucking shitty film. It's Critters 3. It's.
Well, he did that. He did something called Robo War, and he did something called Monster Dog, or alternate title Leviathan, starring Alice Cooper.
I've seen that. I've seen Leviathan. I've never heard of Monster Dog, but I've definitely seen Leviathan. I can't remember Alice Cooper being in it. But there you go.
He was the voice of the Leviathan.
Dog.
Don't let the Swan anywhere near him.
Well, Swan, obviously played by Bruce Abbott. He was in The Demolitionist. That's how he found this film. So I'll move on to Terror. Beatrice Ring.
Ring.
French actress. I had the strongest impression that if I looked up her career on IMDb, I would just be sad. But no, she's gone on to do lots of like French TV stuff. Most recently, one called Vampires or something like that. So she's doing well for herself. She's got a career, so good for her. Mantis, Teagan Clive, bodybuilder. Minor claim to fame in 1996 after she interviewed a murder suspect, Sally Ray McNeil, which apparently is this famous thing in the bodybuilding world where she apparently she said something about killing her husband in self-defense. But Teagan Clive pointed out in this interview that there was a key piece of evidence of a shotgun shell in a room where it shouldn't have been. This woman then went to jail, so that all happened.
Teagan Clive,
and she
doing karate kicks and solving crimes.
She's a writer, bodybuilder, appeared in The Alienator.
Shadow Puppet Master.
Alienator.
The Alienator's one of those film posters I remember from being a kid that was up in the video shop all the time. Just seemed to have always been there.
We're doing that next because I have to watch this.
She's got the same hair in that.
But she's got like big metal colored boobs. Yeah.
She also appeared in another Sinbad film, not the one that Bruce Abbott is in, but an entirely different one, Sinbad of the Seven Seas. It's got a 4.2 score. And at some point, I think we're just circling the Sinbad train so closely.
Was that the one where Sinbad fights Arnold for a toy at Christmas for his son? No? Okay.
Turbo Man.
wrong Sinbad. Got you.
It's not Ray Harryhausen Sinbad's though, is it?
No, the new one's that's the Incredible Hulk, Lou Ferrigno.
Oh.
Yeah, it was made for TV, possibly HBO stuff in the early 90s.
I mean,
Lou Ferrigno was Sinbad.
I'm all in on Teagan Clive. I love her.
Yeah.
She's great in this. Her entire thing is just yelling and like putting one hand up in the air. That's great.
Being campy. Yeah, it's great.
Panasonic was Kero Wahara. Only 2 other film roles, and one was as a very typecast sounding character, Thong, in a similar looking Italian exploitation film, Atoll the Invincible. Did no other thing.
Two
And then
episodes of
finally,
Tenko.
Rat was played by Franco Diogene. 96 credits from 1966 until his death
Well
in
done.
2005.
Yeah, a lot of those
Star
are
of-
low, though, aren't they?
The star of Boom! 1991.
Boom!
Loads of sort of quasi-pornographic films, such as Sexy Supermarket, 1979. And a
Sexy
piece of-
Supermarket.
That
Starring
was
Dale Winton. Sexy
Dale Winton's
Supermarket.
original pitch, that one, yeah. They were like, I'm about Supermarket Sweep. It's not as sexy.
And a random Peter Ustinov film called A Castle with 40 Dogs in 1990.
What's with the dogs?
Got no idea. There you go. There's James facts.
Okay. A lot of love for this film in the reviews world, understandably so, because I think it feels that nice thing of being daft and camp and stuff. So we'll start with the low review, one low review. Steve Berman gave this 3 stars. The sort of movie you need to watch during a drinking game. I'm not sure quite what the Italians intended for this entry into the post-apocalyptic genre. There are so many zany moments. There is a gay comedic moment, such as the dancing boy at the beginning who gets assaulted by a priest during the bar brawl, and the non sequitur of 2 guys talking outside. But these moments are too few and far between to satisfy lovers of the camp. Also, the music overpowers almost every scene. A strange film, not a good film. I don't know. 9 out of 10. Takes Mad Max to the max. It's by Z Plus Cinema 19, number 19 of the Z Plus Cinema clan. Whoa, I definitely concur with the other review. I couldn't find the other review. I think they deleted it. This is by far and away the best rip-off of Mad Max and a cool movie in its own right. Bruce Abbott, Reanimator, plays the likable hero, and unlike the good guys in Italian Road Warrior clones, he's not a grizzled middle-aged man who seems to need glasses. No, it's Bruce's inherent likability that plays a big part in this movie's appeal. Sure, there's also the good writing and direction, and the heroine's pretty cool too, but Brucey really steals the show. Good game. So in a nuked-out future, a mysterious treasure guarded by monks must be protected from wayward warlords. Basically, that's it. And there's a lot of cool little inventive things that give the proceedings an extra kick and punch. I've only come across this flick once, and I'm thankful I bought it. It's pretty neat.
Z
Need
Plus in a
money
bit.
for it. Wow.
You wasted your money there.
I mean, I couldn't find it on DVD. Not that I would have bought it anyway.
VHS, Betamax.
Panasonic.
A wax cylinder.
Yeah. And finally, the 1-star review by Nomenclature. There is a character here named Panasonic, not to be confused with his brothers Yamaha and Magnavox.
Very good
Jesus.
nomenclature.
He was up all night thinking of that. That's it. I mean, a lot of people really rated this. The fact that he says that it's other Italian Road Warrior clones. Is there a whole series of these things?
I hope so.
Because if so, I'm prepared to just do
a
that
series.
forever.
Yeah.
Jump from vehicle to vehicle like Bruce Abbott.
Crotch first. In conclusion, that was 1989's Interzone, or what was it, Wolf Bastards.
Wolf Warriors. Yeah.
Well, Wolf Bastards is better.
It is.
Thank you all for listening. If you want to get in touch, you can get us on Twitter at Hallmark. Great. Gentlemen, your favourite lines from the film?
That was the final chapter. Well, it depends on what book you're reading.
I don't believe it.
Mark, where can they get hold of you? Should they need you?
100 Things We Learned from Film, podcast where me and my friend John, when he can be asked, do a deep dive into a different film, try and come up with 100 things that we learned. Get us on Twitter at 100 Things Film, all over the rest of the internet at 100 Things Film. We're also on Everything We Learned from The Simpsons with my friend Tom, where we are talking about an episode of The Simpsons, try to learn something from that. Coming about the time that this comes out, we're going to be talking A Tale of Two Springfields, which is series 12 episode, which is the latest series Tom will allow me to do. He won't go any later than series 12 because he's a Puritan bastard when it comes to The Simpsons.
There are good ones after that.
There are a
A
couple
few and far between, yeah. That's it. You can go.
Oh,
Champion.
thanks.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Peter Capaldi? I don't think so.